This is The Red Lens. So we're going to bring him in. Hey, Jack, how you doing?
Good morning, man. How have you been? Thank you.
It is good morning for you, right? Real early. What is it? What is the difference there?
It's 3:06 a.m. right now.
Well, you are a trooper, to say the least. You are the owner, founder of your website, personalstrengthconsulting.com.
Yes, I am.
Now, what to give some of the people out there, give us some insight. Is it relationships? Is it money? Is it health? Is it a little bit of both?
Yeah, it's a bit of all. It's a bit of the triforce of finance, of what do you want to call it these days? Love is a forbidden word in the sphere.
Yes.
So let's say wealth, relationships, and health. Wealth, health, relationships. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Do you draw a lot from personal experiences or?
Yes.
Actually,
I do. I've been at this for about, I don't know. When did I start working out? I was 22, maybe 23.
Wow.
And the funny thing is, a lot of guys, when they're in this sphere, you had Rodo and Ryan on as well, right? So everybody knows about that. The secret is out.
Well, that I've had them on the program.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like that. Yeah. So I started working out again, 22, 23, something like that, and I was a very skinny kid, very skinny. This wasn't good. I'm between 5'11" and 6 foot, but I was around 135 to 60 kilos. Yeah, no, actually I was, around 135. So
wow,
that's pretty fucking skinny. And I just started eating a bit more, but I got skinny fat. The ugly, flabby kind of thing. I never had bitch tits. Never had them. Which was good.
Even your name, and I assume always that it's a proper name, that it's your real name. I out of all the guys, I'm like, he's got a classic name.
Mm-hmm.
He has a movie star name, like from the 50s, it's like Errol Flynn and Jack Napier, so it's I always thought that it was just you have a very classic debutante name. And I could be speaking out of my ass right now, but
who doesn't these days?
I know. We'll get to all that stuff in a second, but I did want to get back to I know you do a lot of the personal coaching, and that's part of your particular website that we have there for everybody to see. Do you find that you deal with a lot of issues that are foreign to you or new, or do you use those things that you've been through in your life to kind of help those people out?
It's mostly that. It's mostly the experiences I've had myself, but also the experience I've had with helping friends out a lot. And I'm a bit of an autodidact myself. So, I mean...
What is that?
Oh, an autodidact.
You're dealing with an American over here, so...
I'm sorry. Do I need to spell it as well?
Yes, I need a thesaurus.
Oh, we need a source. Well, Wikipedia, guys, or the dictionary, autodidact. D-I-D-A-C. Jesus Christ, dact, D-A-C-T. I'm not even American, okay? So forgive me for not properly spelling that very fast.
Well, you're fitting in very well.
So. I do my best. But I never was able to do the American accent, which is a shame.
It's funny. I find that amazing for all the movie stars out there that can do that.
Oh yeah, Gerard Butler is
Hugh Jackman. He's out there, and you hear him on interviews, and it's and you're like, how is he doing Wolverine?
Yeah, how is he doing that? Well, okay, to get back to
sorry, I curved off there.
No, not my problem. It's my fault. So it's a lot of experience, things like that, because to me it was trial and error. Trial and error.
Mhm.
I love that phrase. Like very old school Mega Man 2 Nintendo.
Yeah, there you go.
Like you died, try again. You died, try again. Like fuck. So when I started out in the gym, and I guess like most people, and yeah, I'd like to say kids, but no, I see a lot of adults doing this as well. They could put on the machines. Like here you have the abductor, and here you have this machine and that machine, and the pec deck thing, blah blah blah. You're not being guided to the free weights immediately.
Mm.
So I started working out about a year or something, but it was mostly machines. Then well, as we all do, started Googling. Well, it turned out I didn't have cancer. I just had the wrong training program. It was good. I wasn't pregnant either.
Yeah.
So started delving more into to proper bar movement, things like that, the main lifts. And I found Medi 5x5, MEDHI. And he actually got the idea from Mark Ripeto's starting strength. Only Mark Ripito does 3x5 and 5x5. Well, nothing wrong with that. Both very good beginner programs, starting out with the main movements, things like that. So that's what I started implementing about a year after I started working out. Trial and error again. There was one time I dislocated my hip during squatting. That is the worst injury I ever had. Luckily, it was the only injury I ever had, which turned out to be the worst one of all.
How long was that recovery?
Well, funny you should mention that. It only was a day. Here it comes. During that time, I got so interested in working out. I started doing like evening school, personal training, and what's the word again? Nutrition advice, things like that. I followed the Bayesian bodybuilding course from Menno Henselmans, very science-based personal training. You can look it up. He's associated with Eric Helms, Greg Knuckles, guys like that. I really love it, like the science behind it. Like, okay, so what is the proper way of doing all of this? So I had a job in a gym nearby, and I called in. I was like, okay, guys, there's something wrong with my hip or back, and I don't know if I can stand all day. And well, most of my coworkers were maniacal bitches back then, and they were like, "Let him work," and I'm like, "Oh fuck." So I walked around in that gym like, "Oh," and the guys working out there were like, "Jack, are you okay?" I'm like, "Oh, man, I don't know, something's not." And then the physical therapist walked in. I had a client, and he saw me walking. He was like, "I don't know if this is good." So he walked over to my boss, which was a work in and of herself. Jesus Christ, I'll tell you about that later. But he looked at her and he was like, "Can I borrow him for about half an hour? Like, can you miss it? Because we need to fix this." And she was like, "Oh, okay, sure." So it was fixed within a day. He was like, "Okay, come with me. Lay down on the bench and we'll see what's happening." So he started pulling my legs and things like that. And it was like, "Okay, I've got some good news for me. Some bad news for you." I was like, "Okay, give it to me straight." It's like, "Your hip is dislocated." I'm like, "Oh, but I'm going to put it back. And that's not so good for you. So bite your teeth, kid." I was like, "What?" Bang!
Oh.
And he just pushed it back. I'm like,
Oh.
Christ. That was a hell of an experience. Like, "What? Put your hip back. How can you stand?" And I was like, "I don't feel anything yet." So I just hopped up and I jumped off that bench and I was like, "Oh, nice. Everything works." But then I was like, "You know what? my form needs some proper checking, and I also need to be able to properly educate people with that. And I got a lot of the net, like Mark Smelly Bell from Super Training 06. I don't know if you know the guy.
Oh, no, I don't.
Yeah, Jesus, that was pretty awesome back in the day. Though that was one of the biggest powerlifting channels, one of the only one actually. And those were guys who like benched 600 pounds just for fun on a Saturday morning. And they just bantering around. All guys. It was a very very male space, which, well, is now not anymore, and you can notice that by the content, because it used to be like, okay, we're benching now, and here's some donuts, and who cares about being fat and things like that. Bench pressing away, squatting away, like deadlifting 800, like, no care in the world. But they had guys on like Ed Cohn, Stan Efferding, Chad Wesley Smith, guys like that, like world record holders in the main movements. So I learned a lot from those guys, and on the cues and things like that. And I had a training partner, and I also experimented a lot on him. Like, how is this working? Like 24, 25-year-old Jack, like, okay, we need to do this right. But then in the Netherlands, there was and I don't know how to properly pronounce this, so let me check this real quick.
And while you're looking that up, you contribute to quite a bit of different channels on YouTube. I put like Rule Zero in because I know you did a little thing on there, but you do. What are some of the other particular places people can find you?
Oh yeah, Twitter. I'm doing well on Twitter. I've got like 1,800 followers, I believe. I had a date last night.
Oh, did you?
Oh God, yes.
See, these are the details and the stories that we like on this program.
Well, good. That's a very good thing. Like, we still here? Yeah, I'm there.
Yes. Yeah, I didn't lose you.
Okay, good. Yeah, my internet is doing a bit weird. Like, I have a MacBook, and for some old reason, it doesn't like Google Chrome. Like, these two are not friends.
Probably wants Opera or something like that.
Nah,
is that one of those things?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, technology, work for me. I shouldn't be working for you. You should just...
It should be easy at this point.
Yeah, like, it's 2019, people. That is the only time that the age we're living in is a solid argument when it comes to technology. Like, dudes, we've been at this before, okay?
Right. That's a good point. Like, we should be put to the point where like a browser should work out of the box.
Yeah.
You know, like even if you come up with something new, it should be working. But
like, not this
date
shit where we like to say people kind instead of mankind. You see, because it's 2016 diversity. Like, no, Justin. No. Human nature has not changed with the years.
We'll get to the point where it's just beings.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like, that shit is happening in the Netherlands as well.
Is it?
Yeah. Like, the word for crew, or crew, like part of the crew, things like that, is bemanning. So if you want a very butchered way of translating that, it's the manning of the forces.
Ah, okay.
Or the forces of man. And there was this wearing a haircut like I want to see the HR department. Like, the embodiment of the HR department. Haircut and all was like, we'd like to say peopling of the crew, peopling of the force, not man. We think that's sexist. And I was like, seriously? This is happening in my country too? Fuck off.
And I see that some of the evidence of your date last night is hanging there.
Well, funny thing you should mention that. This is not from last night, but I did. She was like, what happened again? Because I always keep this hanging up.
I knew Jack was a connoisseur. I didn't know he was that good.
Like, this one comes from 2000 and... Yeah, but oh my gosh, she was wearing this Bordeaux red lingerie set. I was like, yes. Like, I've been at this Tinder game for a while, and I come from the golden age of Tinder when it just came up. Like, I'm not a bad looking guy, so it was around when I started lifting, things like that. So good thing was, like, I was skinny fat, so I'd lost the fat very fast, so you could see the abs straight away and things like that. Like, when I have my shirt off, I look way more jacked than I actually am, which is a good thing. So golden age of Tinder, immediately, like, Friday nights were you got a match and you know why she was there and she knew why you were there. And I was like, hey, I see you're a fitness instructor. This was an actual opener from a girl. I'd love to get a fitness class from you. And I was like, yeah, damn, I love technology. But yeah, like through the years, Tinder got a bit infested. Watson is my best friend and the guy who I swap notes with. And he's not as jacked as I am. I'm not even that big or anything. I'm at the small end of the gene pool, unfortunately enough. We'll get into that later, by the way, with the powerlifting. But he was like, well, you know what, Jack? Your 6. No? Yeah, your 6 is my 4 and your 8 is my 6. I was like, yeah, sorry, man. I mean, I have a certain standard. And like the last couple of years, no, I'm lying about that. Not the last couple of years, last couple of months, I've been getting matches and things like that, but you can sense the entitlement on these dating apps. Like, social Darwinism is real on Tinder. And I'm not even a bad looking guy, but Christ, man, you have to be top 1% level if you want the success you actually want. I mean, every guy wants a Renee Summerfield. Am I right?
And that's obviously somebody from the Netherlands, I guess.
No, Renee Summerfield is the model from the Beach Ready commercial in Britain. I don't know if you remember that. It was a bit of an outrage. There was this poster hanging in the UK that said, "Are you beach body ready?" With this bombshell. Like, nice. Like, proper man advertising. And everybody lost their mind because blah, 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 fat shaming and things like that. But just small waist, flat stomach, big tits, nice, blonde, long hair. Very feminine, young, fertile. And people lost their minds. But like every guy who's honest, he wants that.
Yeah,
like,
sure. Yeah.
I have a feeling I'm telling 3 stories at once because
I think you
about the panties, and well, we were done, things like that, and lovely girl, straight to the point, had a very good connection, and all of a sudden we were like texting back and forth and blah blah blah, and all of a sudden she was like, I just want a man who can tell me what my place is. And I'm like, oh, so this is the part where we're not being subtle again, and I just tell you I want to spank your ass. She was like, yes, we have reached that point. And I'm like, wow, they're still out there.
Yeah.
And she was here and blah, blah, and all of a sudden she was like, I can't find my panties. And I was just sitting here, like, turning that thing on my finger. I'm like, you're not getting this back. She was like, you know how annoying it is in the cold to not wear panties? I was like, well, you can have boxers of mine. She was like, oh, well, I'm fine with that. But then everything was in the laundry. And I was like, ah, God damn it. She was like, well, maybe next time. And I'm like, yeah, if there's going to be a next time, like, I'm not even calculating on the next time anymore. That's how it has become. Like, yeah, I know how this works, girl.
You know, you got to get what you can up front.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, I know, I've got the biggest dick you've ever seen. I fucked so well, blah blah blah. There's no one else like me out there. I've heard it all. Like, in the beginning, you're like, oh wow, I'm special to this girl. But then you hear it like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, and you're like, maybe there's something going on. Like, I have a huge ego, but even then I'm like,
I know.
I don't know. Speaking about the huge ego, the powerlifting thing, because I got put in my place after that injury.
Right, but I bet.
We had a 2 guys all of a sudden started a, oh, Jesus Christ, what's the word? there. Come on, Google. Oh, a practice course. So no books or anything. And he was a top level powerlifter in the Dutch classes. And he had been a fitness blogger for over 10 years or something like that, was a personal trainer for 10 years. And they started to notice that a lot of personal trainers in practice don't really know how to coach or how to perform. So I found that, and I was like, damn, this is amazing. Like 5 days in a row, like 6 hours straight, learning the movement. So it's 6 hours squat, 6 hours deadlift, 6 hours bench and presses, like shoulder presses and bench presses, bend over rows, pull-ups, things like that. Just focus on the coaching of that movement and how to perform that movement. And it was amazing, and it was the best investment I ever made till this day. At least one of. Yeah, best investment I ever made. Because all the cues that go around in those main movements, they transfer to all of each other. Like during the bench press, like you want your chest tight, you want your lat engaged, things like that. You want that arch in, but like the activation of the lats and things like that comes back in every movement, like the deadlift, the squat, the pull-ups, things like that. You see a lot of guys doing pull-ups, like at the end, they just hang there. When what you want is to keep those lats engaged. Like, boom, proper, like, I don't know if people can see it right now, kind of like this. Normally, guys go like this, like, end of my pull-up, boom, there, this. That you want to keep being engaged. Glute activation, what a lot of guys forget. Glute activation during pull-ups, things like that. You have to be tight everywhere when it comes to that. The core stability, and I know Drew Bay doesn't like the word core. I'm sorry, it just slips off the tongue way faster, Drew. You have to forgive me. Like the elbows turned in instead of keeping them completely out, because a lot of guys with the bench press, they flare their elbows out. No, you want those elbows in, lats engaged, things like that. Proper squatting is hard for some guys as well. Like I've been coaching a couple of guys at home right now, but they keep that chest way up because they have the feeling, no, I need to keep my chest up to keep my lats engaged. Like, no. You have the bar on your back. You have it tightly. You engage your lats, so you put your elbows down a bit, shoulders down instead of back, because when they do it back, that chest goes up, and your chest, your nipples can point diagonally, Jesus Christ, to the floor.
Right.
Things like that. And that's all we learned. And it's 6 hours per day, and it's mashing your head. You do not leave without knowing every detail about certain movements. We learned about the butt wink and how much of a non-existent threat that actually is. Oh man, foot position, foot width, bar position, hand position, everything. Chin position. A lot of guys during the deadlift, they point their chin up, like look up. No, you want your neck and your head locked in as well, so you keep your chin in. Your neck and back is in one straight line. Things like that. Very injury preventive coaching, and that changed so much.
Right.
Was a bit of a hit to the ego as well, because around then I squatted almost 225, and I was so proud of myself. But it was lousy form. Really was lousy form.
You know, you're right on, because especially with squatting, the form is the key. And I mean, you just said it yourself. Everybody winds up totally blowing their back out and ruining themselves going forward because they're not doing what you're just illustrated.
Yeah, absolutely. So I went there and I was like, oh, I can almost squat 225. And then I came there, and then proper form, that was cut in half. Just, nope, you're going back to lower than 135, like about 100 pounds. Right, the bar 45, yeah, kind of like that, like 90 pounds. You're going back to 90 pounds. Learning that form, proper depth, proper speed, proper leg position, everything. So that was a bit of an ego hit. But after that, I just kept consistent, things like that. And man, the coaching was never better. Hey, Ben Silver Swag is in the chat. Good morning, man.
Oh, hey, yeah, I see that. All right, good morning. Yeah. So he obviously is one of your countrymen over there.
The song of my people.
All right.
So yeah, that was the best thing I ever did, and I started implementing that right away in coaching. Then I had a couple of fitness instructor jobs, and the thing with fitness is this: when you're well educated and you work into a commercial, or you start working in a commercial gym, you're pretty much fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Because 48 laws of power, man, never outshine the master. A lot of these guys who are now running a gym don't know shit. So you as a youngster show up, I have all this knowledge and I can help people and I want to help people. And the clients love me because I have a strange way of coaching.
Now, would you say like what you're describing right now, would that be what kind of separates you in terms of the guidance that you give out there versus other people? You know, what are some of the things that you bring to the table when somebody signs up with personal strength consulting that might be a little different than some of the other people?
Not blowing sunshine up your ass. That is a big one. I'm very direct. I'm known for my tough love, and you can expect that from me. Like if you come to my doorstep and you're like, I want to lose 20 pounds. And the first thing I ask is, what do you drink? And you tell me you drink Starbucks Maca Latte every day. I'm going to tell you to cut that crap out now. There is no negotiation in that. You want to lose that, you're going to cut the crap. But I like it. I don't care. You want to continue this consulting? Then you're going to quit. And if they don't, well, have fun being fat. I don't care.
Right.
Like, if you want your goals achieved, you're going to listen because I know what I'm doing. You hired me with the idea, knowing that I know how to get you where you need to be. So you better start listening. And if they don't, well, that's not my problem. You can stay fat for all I care. You can stay unhealthy. Like my way or the highway when you're coaching for me. I have guys who squat an empty bar, and if they don't step it out in the right way, that I think is the right way, put it back. I've had a guy put it back like 5 to 6 times. He just, for some odd reason, just couldn't do it. Because how I want you to do it is you have the bar in the rack, you walk under it, you have it firmly on your back between your traps and your shoulders, both feet under, and the best way to pop it out is just tighten your glutes. So you pop it out, so to say, and then not more than 2 to 3 steps. Good. Do that, and then you're at least consistent. Because a lot of guys walk out with one foot forward and the other one back. I'm like, when you're squatting an empty bar, that's okay. Well, it's not okay, but you're not in much danger. But when you do that with like already from 135 pounds and you're treating the weight like you're not respecting the weight in any way, shape or form, you're gonna get hurt. So starting out, I want my guys to realize is how to properly set up. It all starts with that. I don't care if you squat 10 pounds or 300 pounds. That setup needs to be right.
So it's like your way or the highway.
Yeah, I am very much like that. I am very much my way or the highway. And I'm not even that expensive, to be very honest. I charge about $50 an hour for consulting, and you get a schedule, you get your diet in order, you get form checks, everything. So yeah, it's a bit of a bargain. I mean, I've seen personal trainers charging like $100 to $150.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Ben Silverstein, no, Hot Dude Army, John's client. Well, good. John, I've had coaching with John as well. John helped me out with all of this. Hey, Ben, are you subscribed to my channel? I'm almost at 1,000. I'm like 5 away or something. Or 5 away from 9K.
Come on, Ben. Come on. Your boy's over here up at 3:40 in the morning.
Yes.
Least you can do is subscribe. Get him up over that 1,000 mark. Speaking of people you know, You come from a large family. Do they know your forays into online business and things like that?
They absolutely don't, and they absolutely don't care.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
A
that's the.
lot of love in the Napier household.
Oh man, don't get me started on that. We will be sitting here 2 hours. So yeah, I had a lot of self-development to do before I found the sphere. So yeah, that's all about that.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, you people come from all walks and different stories, their backstories. So, and a lot of times, this is something that Rich Cooper talks about a lot. You can live in the past and you can, blame your background, your upbringing, the lack of avenue to education. You can do all that and you can live there.
Yeah,
But you're never gonna move on.
Well, you're hitting on a good point because I've seen guys who come from better households than I do who ended up junkies, like lost all their teeth, shit like that. And I'm
Wow.
like, what the hell is wrong with you, you fucking pussy? Like, your parents got divorced. So what? Just like 90% of all of us. Like my generation, the millennial generation, like it's almost abnormal to have your parents together. And even if they're together, it's mostly because he's a plow horse and she's a bitch. Don't know how much I can curse, but I'll try to.
Yeah, well, it's I I haven't gotten any strikes yet, so
Okay. So I'll try to tone it down a bit. But when it comes to education, like in the Netherlands, we have a level system. And that's the best way I can describe it. So you start out, high school is divided in 4 to 5. So stick with me. You've got the manual labor, that's the lowest. Then you've got a bit more theory practice, that's BB. Yeah, BB. Then you got a little more theory there. Then you got KB. Then you get more theory, no practice, which is called TL. Then you get HAVO and VWO, or VWO. VWO is for when you finish that in high school, you can go straight to university.
yeah.
Yeah, university. HAVO, HEVO, is you go straight to college. And if you have anything lower than HAVO, you need to finish kind of like sort of pre-college. What's it called? Like community, sort of
I was
community.
going to say we have that here. It's community college.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know if it's the same, but you learn more of a trade. You learn more of a trade where you get prepped for college.
Oh, okay.
So, in my younger years, when I started high school, my mother died, so I wasn't big into school. I really wasn't. And I never had trouble. I never had an attitude towards teachers, things like that. My grades just weren't there. I mean, can you imagine? Like the kid's mom just died, and they sent me out of class a lot because I talked a lot. Like, go figure. Like, no teacher, none asked me. Like somebody, none, no teacher at all, no one. It was like, oh, you're showing bad behavior. Get into my classroom. Oh, that's the way it went. And at the end of the year, they were like, well, we're going to transfer you to a lower level with more manual labor and things like that. And I felt so dumb. I really did. I felt dumb for years because that current of education was for, well, it was known for the dumber people, which in the end turned out to be so wrong. By God, society was so wrong. But that hit me hard back then. Really, that was an ego thing. Like, I'm not smart. Oh, so I'm dumb. I know I'm not dumb. I didn't know why. I just knew. Like, no, I'm not dumb. I can hold a conversation. I can think,
Mm.
things like that. So what I started doing, and this comes back to the autodidact part, is a guy who, and Elon Musk says this the best: don't let your schooling stand in the way of your education.
Mm.
That's what I did. Like, we have a Dutch Amazon. It's called bol.com, like fat.com. And I just started buying books left and right about everything I wanted to know. Like, my friends in college needed to read Orwell, things like that. I'm like, oh, damn, that sounds interesting. So I started reading Orwell, started reading Huxley, started reading philosophy, Sun Tzu, Art of War, love that book. Machiavelli, The Prince, what more? Aristotle, things like that. I just started reading. Then I took a course, just an evening school course, for proper spelling and grammar in my own language, because at the education level where I was, they didn't really care about that, because, well, you're doing manual labor anyway, so who needs to learn to read and write? Like, well, I want to do that. I don't take people seriously.
Just break these rocks.
Yeah, like, I don't take people seriously who don't write properly. So I saved up my money and I did an evening school in that, like proper spelling and grammar in at a college level. And I finished that with like an A minus. Yeah, an A minus. And then there's something kind of flipped in me, like, hey, I'm learning things, but without school. And I know school isn't saying it, but this kind of starts to prove that I'm more intelligent than what I've been appointed to.
And you moved out of the class with girls like this.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Margaret.
You got out of that class.
So yeah, I got out of that class. Yeah. But it was like my classmates back then were the outcasts.
Right.
Like, Jesus Christ, all the junkies and the pikeys and things like that. And I was like, I don't belong here. And don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm not degrading anybody, because I had the biggest fun back then, because those guys didn't care. So it was just laughs all around. It really was like no teacher can handle these guys. And I had so much fun. I remember a guy smoking in class. He just opened the window. He sat there in the window, like rolling his fag, and just smoking it up. I'm like, the hell is this?
That's great.
So I did have a lot of fun, but like educational wise, I did miss a couple of things.
Right.
So started teaching myself things, like with the personal training, things like that.
You ever have a guy that you like couldn't train, like it just was impossible? It was like the most difficult challenge. You ever have one of those?
Mentally or physically?
Maybe both, depending on, if it was just, physical that you're working on stuff with him, or, if it was like a lifestyle problem and they just, you tried to give him all the, all the answers and he just wouldn't do it. It just.
Well, my father's a good example. Jesus Christ. The man is 315 pounds, had heart problems.
Jeez.
Like, doesn't want to change his diet, doesn't want to change his lifestyle. That one was tough. So that's the only one I can think of. Other than that, there was a client who couldn't bench press because of his bicep, the bicep attachment to his shoulder. He had a very difficult time doing the full range of motion during the bench press. But what we found out, and when he does dumbbell presses, and instead of horizontally, he has the dumbbells vertically, he can perfectly make that range of motion. So yeah, sometimes it's just a little tweaking in the arm position or the foot position. But I've had a lot of guys who can squat to parallel. That's a bit of a process which can be fixed within a day, within an hour even. Just I make them do box squats or goblet squats. And for those who don't know what goblet squats are, because box squats kind of speak for themselves. Goblet squats is when you hold the weight in front in front of you, and for some odd reason, the range of motion is easier to get than when you have that thing on your back. So I try to teach him that slowly but surely. But yeah, that's the only thing I kind of got. I mean, every client I get in the beginning does something wrong. And that isn't a bad thing. I'm not looking down on them. But there's always things you notice about people's movement. Even, seriously, I can walk into any gym and if I walked up into Drew Bay's gym or Menno Henselman's gym or all the well-known personal trainer guys in the science-based department of all of this, they will notice something on my squat, bench, deadlift, pull-up, you name it, that they would change. And the same with me. Like I've seen guys deadlift, like Taylor Woodland now holds the world record deadlift in his weight class, in the 93 kilo weight class. That kid deadlifted more than 400 kilos.
Wow.
But when he pulled that, I'm like, yeah, okay, he pulls it, but there's a lot wrong with it. Even from a jury standpoint, because what he does, he pulls it off the ground, but he goes back a bit and then he goes back up, which in the IPF powerlifting is a big no-no. Like you either go up straight or you put it down. But when there's an up-down movement and you go back up, it wouldn't have been approved. So yeah, I mean, the guy did pull over 400 kilos, but there's, well, the internet trolls going like, well, his form wasn't okay. So yeah, you get that. But still, I mean, I've had that before as well in a powerlifting competition, and I can watch the footage back. It was 160 kilos, and that is about 380. Yeah, 380, something like that. 160 kilos. I don't know how much that is in pounds. How much is that in pounds for you Yanks?
And just real quick, if anybody out there wants to call in, the live call-in number 224-231-4652. You can get in touch. You could ask Jack a quick question here. It's not going to give you a consultation on the air, but he'll give you he'll answer something quick for you. So feel free to do that.
That would be fun. Oh, it's 352. So it was a bit off there. But 352 pounds, 160 kilos. But the first time I pulled that in a meet, so I went up and I was like, yes, I got it. Because I wanted to end that meet with 175, which is 3 red plates and the collars, because that would have looked awesome. But the first one was considered faulty by the jury. Like, what? Why is that considered faulty? Well, you didn't have your knee locked. And I was like, and I looked at that footage over and over and over again.
Right.
I'm like, I can't see it. I can't see it. But then I was like, okay, I'm either moving up the weight or I'm going to go back to the 160 kilos. So I did for the 160 again for the last lift of the day. And this time I got it. But I was like, if I can pull 160 twice with so little time between them, there was more in there. So that's been bugging me, man. That's been bugging me. So I'm doing one more powerlifting meet in June.
Oh, nice.
One more, last one, because if I want to be, I'm hitting my natural plateau.
The Netherlands, because that's the area you're in, right?
Yeah.
Do women and are men, are they preoccupied with the physical, outer appearance as they are here? I mean, I live in New York, and other than California, it's very much show me. You have to look the part. Right.
Not as much as they should be.
Okay.
Not as much as they should be. Obesity is a thing here as well.
Really?
Yeah, well, we live in an abundant state. I mean, the West, save the West. We have, that's what I like to call the state of abundance. And this is why you see all this crap where people make hissy fits out of very normal things. That can only be possible when you've got it so well that the only thing you've got left is make a big deal out of a commercial or something like that. I saw the other day, there was this treadmill company, high-tech, was it even treadmill? No, what's that thing called? Home trainer. High-tech home trainer. Had a TV screen and anything, and you could put your tablet on it, and it was connected to your phone, and have your own progress thingy. I don't even know. Like, have your own log on it. Like, very personalized. And it was a Christmas gift commercial. Christmas gift commercial. People lost their minds because it was confronting for people who don't work out. Yeah, that's the thing about the commercial. They want to get you to work out. I'm like, seriously, people?
I actually did see that. I saw that today. I saw a thing online about that. Yeah, that people freaked out because, you know, somebody said, well, it was insulting. If you gave that as a gift, it would be insulting to your significant other.
Yeah, but why would that be insulting? As in, hey, honey, I have the best of intentions when it comes to your health.
Right.
It's insulting, honey. Then you and I shouldn't be together.
I had ulterior motives. I was like, all right, you know, you want to be serious, okay? Then here's what we're gonna do. You know, we've been dating for 8 months or whatever. The holiday season's getting here. This is what I'm gonna do for you. You know, and it was like, you know, it was like, okay, you know, you're gonna get in shape. It's gonna be good for me, good for you. But I mean, that whole scenario was crazy because, you know, she didn't even drive. It was just, it was, you know, it was a bad scenario. So that I jettisoned that one. It was, yeah, that was.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Get back to that whole people calling me up, but you're scrawny. Yeah, but that does not mean I don't know what I'm doing. Like Alan Aragorn, one of the spearheads in scientific personal training, he doesn't look that big. Greg Knuckles, who releases Mass, I believe, Mass every month. Very scientific case studies, training wise, you name it. Guy is fat as fuck. He's strong as hell, but he's fat as fuck. So it's a bit of an appeal to appearance, an appeal to appearance. Like, if I can show you that I can still perform a squat in a form which is almost flawless, things like that, and what's wrong with me not being as huge as a 245-pounder, things like that. But you see this on Instagram so much. Like, I had a coworker, jacked as hell, like, model good looks, blue pill mindset. I mean, he wasn't that huge. His arms were not bigger than mine, sort of thing. He had the shoulder look, that boulder shoulder look. I love that look. But yeah, I'm not going to use. And yes, he actually mentioned to me he's using, so that's why I say that. But he posts pictures on Instagram and things like that, and yada, yada, yada. And everybody's always like, oh, I want to achieve that body as well. But then I'm like, yeah, but you know he's fake, right?
Right. Yeah. That's a great point because, again, I'm not saying that there's not people that are naturally big. You know, your weight's different, proportions are different, but there's a rule of thumb, and I'm sure you have them over in the gyms there. If it looks like it's not natural, it probably is.
No, very true. You can see it. A big giveaway is the shoulders. That's a big giveaway. Like, people say acne and things like that. Yeah, Maybe like if it's a 1+1+1+1 thing, then I'd say okay, but just acne alone, I'm not. No, it's the shoulders and the definitions and the huge progress in strength. When you're like, I don't know, man. Like we had a guy show up like bench pressing 120 kilos just for 8 to 10 reps.
Right.
All of a sudden, like the week before, he had just done 110, I believe, something like that, or a couple of months before, and he had effort with that, and all of a sudden 120 kilos times 8 to 10, and we were like, the fuck did you eat? Like, but later he actually told me, because I've been struggling with the 225 bench. That is my main goal for the coming year, 225 bench. I got to 220. That's the worst part. Like, I got 220 and I failed at 225. I'm like, fuck, come on. And for guys who are wondering, like, why is he saying one thing in pounds and one thing in kilos? I've been watching Mark Bell's Super Training 06 so long that I know the standard 4 plates in pounds so well that I can switch between them. Like 2 plates, that's 135. 4 plates, that's 225. Then 315, 405, you name it.
Now, speaking of like the future, and I'll kind of borrow or paraphrase Richard Cooper here. In 10 years, where do you see Jack Napier?
That's a good question. Retired, and not from the channel, but retired from the 905. That is the main goal in 10 years. Now, how will I do that? Go look up Mr. Money Mustache. Go read Your Money or Your Life. Poor Richard's Retirement by Aaron Clary. Things like that. I'm not big on the get rich quick. No, it won't work. Some guys promise you things and it won't happen. Yada, 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 yada. I do investing, things like that. Minimal expenses, maximum income. And what I mean by that, I'm an average Joe. I have a 9 to 5, things like that. Personal trainer as well. So I'm trying to get my own business off the ground, which is working. I had a couple of clients and they were very satisfied. But I also have a 9 to 5. But the best thing about that is that I'm a minimalist. So almost 70% of my income I can save.
That's great.
Yeah, that's a good position to be in. So I save that up. I invested. I properly invested. Do your research. Always do your research. And that's the 10-year plan. The 10-year plan is indeed just work your 9 to 5, build up your business, but don't be a moron when it comes to money. Like, save it, invest it, don't buy crap you don't need, and done. Like, I traded in my car. I had an Opel Astra, which is Vox, I believe, where you guys are from.
Okay, yeah.
And I mean, damn, man, that was a 5 doors, and I'm single. Why the hell do I need a big car like that? To impress who? It's all fine and dandy. But first of all, Andrew Tate is the top 1%. Dan Bilzerian is the top 0.5%.
Right.
Like, sorry, guys, but your average Joe is not going to get there overnight. Not going to happen. Not here to rain down on your day and telling you you can't do it. Okay, maybe you can do it. I believe in you. If you have a plan and you actually think you can do it, go do it, but be smart about it. But then I ask you, who the hell do you want to impress?
And you have a good point. You have a great point there because, and this is something that when I watch Richard Cooper's stuff, he gets a lot of calls and a lot of write-ins about, oh, Rich, you're speaking crazy. You can't do that. There's no way to do what you're doing and blah, blah, blah. But what they don't understand is that Rich has built what he's built over the course of time. He didn't just wake up, 2 years ago and say, oh, you know what? I want to have an investment firm. He talks about that stuff a lot. he lost a lot before he gained. Okay, so he took his lumps for a decade.
Yeah.
Before he, was able to parlay, this venture, his entrepreneur and car thing, his website, that is a small byproduct of a side thing that he decided to do.
Yeah.
So he's very much an established man outside of what people see online. So
yeah,
it ties into what you're just saying.
That's a huge thing people forget. Like what I've been seeing on Twitter and in the sphere is guys giving Richard Cooper a lot of flack. He's charging $1,100 a consulting. How dare he? And he should be working for men. Whoa. Hold up. Sit right down. First of all, nobody but Rich has the authority to say anything about that but him. That's first. Second of all, people should realize that entrepreneurs in cars things he's got going, which is cool, is his side thing. That man doesn't need to do this. He chose to be like, you know what? I've got cash. I've got time. Let me help some guys out. His free content is worth a lot. Like, he could be charging for that as well, I know he has his private community. Like, you can't be in his chat if you're not part of the community. I mean, everybody has an opinion on that. But okay. He has just put a price on his time. You've got a guy who's a confirmed multimillionaire, and you want him to do consulting for $10 an hour? He's busy. He's busy. He needs to take time off his business to take care of guys who probably want to ask him, how do I get the girls?
Right.
And yes, I am talking smack about a couple of guys, but seriously, if you still don't know how to get the girls, here's how you get them. You go outside, you put on your helmet, and you fucking talk to them. And you scrape your knees a bit because you're gonna get rejected. Chris did. I did. Heck, even Rollo Tomasi himself.
I'm still getting rejected, if we're being 100% honest.
We all are. I had a very nice date yesterday. Seriously, it was a very nice date in a long time. You don't want to know how many crappy dates I had before that one? How many rejections? How many times I walked out just because I'm not dealing with your shit? I sent a meme to a girl. A meme. My generation. Funny picture. And she was like, oh, I think that's tasteless. So I ignored that completely. Like, you know what? I'm not going to respond to that. Don't do it, Jack. Don't do it. Don't argue with children. Don't. Save yourself the time and trouble. A day afterwards, she's like, I've been thinking, and I just don't feel right about this. I thought it was very disrespectful, very tasteless, and I don't think you should call women that. And I was like, how did you picture me to respond to your lack of humor? Do you really expect me, a guy in his almost 30s, who does not have depth, who works out, has a body of a fucking demigod, because I'm not maybe big, but again, look at the picture, is not dependent on anyone but himself. Why in the world should I bend the knee to a girl like you, who's probably in crippling debt, has an alcohol problem, and has a dick mileage ratio of 500?
Right.
What did you expect me to do? Like, ask for forgiveness? No.
She wants you to repent.
There's plenty of girls like that out there, and that's what they're not getting. They feel so freaking entitled. And I get it. Most guys out there are trash, like bitch tits and muffin tops. A lot of guys out there. they're balding, they're aging, they're fat, they're debt as well, they're dependent on mommy and daddy. I get it. But don't bring that shit to my doorstep expecting me to lay down and let you walk all over me. Because, honey, I've got my shit together as far as I want it to have together. So that, I remember that, by the way. Dude Party, you were in the chat. Like, Jack isn't buying it. And this is why. When that kid said, and seriously, I held back. Seriously. I was pissed off because he sat there 20 years old, maybe even younger. I want them bad bitches. Kid, first of all, you're pedestalizing them. That's number one. Second of all, if I'm right about what you mean by bad bitches, you ain't got shit. You know what these bad, quote unquote, bad bitches be doing? They be on seeking arrangement. They be with Tate. They be with Dan Bilzerian and some other fucking sugar daddies.
I often say I say this about, I say this about those girls that you see on there. You see them on Twitter, you see them on the Instagram pages, and some of them I know personally, and they're on boats, they're on boats and they have pictures. Somebody is paying for them to be on that boat, to be popping that champagne, and I'm not saying paying money.
I mean, we can have an argument if that's good or bad or whatever. But I've been reading Salty by B-Rob. Yeah, B-Rob is his name.
I've heard of that.
It's a good book. Damn, that's some good insight. That is some good insight in there. You want your last remaining hope of the blue pill crushed? Go read that. Go read that. The millennial generation women, a lot of them are on seeking arrangement, which is, well, you can argue against it, you can argue for it, I don't care. But we are living in the social Darwinistic society right now, which is leaned towards the feminine. So when he said that, I want them bad bitches, I was like, kid, you got it all wrong. These bad bitches, quote unquote, need to be with you. Like, they should be saying, I want to get them bad guys or whatever, like studs. And every time I hear a kid say that, I'm like, you need to realize that a lot of these girls, if they go for your money or things like that, they still be fucking the pool boy.
Yeah, no, that's true.
They still be fucking the bass player.
Yeah,
they're fucking the drummer.
That guy had a long way to go. He was just, he was confused. Hopefully, either you or somebody can get to him and kind of coach him along.
And that moment was a very good visualization of how my coaching is. Like, if you bring any nonsense to my doorstep, I will kick it to the curb. I will shatter your ego, and I do not care.
No,
because that's what some people need.
No,
I can squat 315. Yeah, but your back is bent, your knees are inward, and your head is up. So fix that. But then I have to squat 225. I don't care. And you're going to squat the empty bar if you could keep talking back.
And I wanted to get to a few things. Like I said, I kind of looked at your website, and some things popped out at me. So I wanted to have you kind of answer a few little excerpts that kind of did pop out to me. And one of the things that you talk about here is you say, I don't understand why these people don't get full and don't have the capacity to connect the dots between I ate enough for 2 days yesterday, so I don't need to eat anything today. It's that stupid myth that people have to eat every day, which you don't even train every day and look natural. The anabolic window is 72 hours. So feeding protein to muscle can be taken 72 hours after your workout. So are you saying that you actually don't have to really eat during the day, so to speak?
Well, it's the intermittent fasting blog, isn't it? Or the intermittent fasting piece. Yeah, I tried out fasting for my max was 104 hours. I didn't lose strength or anything, but there's a bit of a loophole in that. Before I started that fasting, I had a feasting of meat, eggs, cheese, like full on carnivore diet. Just shove it in, kid. Have fun.
Okay.
And so I just trained during that fast. No trouble at all. I didn't lose strength. I didn't lose energy. No, nothing. So in my experience, it was like, why do all these people who don't even work out eat so damn much? Well, I'm here working my ass off, not even eating. I missed that connection. Like, how can it possibly be that you, not you, Eric, but people in general. Oh, sorry, Cris Von Erik.
Yeah.
Sorry, Cris. Like, how can it be that these people who do absolutely nothing just keep on eating? Like, what is that? And then they complain about being fat. Like, calories. Like, what is missing in their train of thought that cannot comprehend that maybe, just maybe, you are putting in more in your body than you actually need? Now, I'm not saying you don't need to eat. I mean, fasting, I like it. I'd recommend it for some people who actually want to lose weight and want to get a grip on their eating habits. But when push comes to shove, in my case, and I've seen more people do this, like Cole something from the snake diet. That's where I got the idea from, the snake diet. He has tons of clients, strong guys who don't eat for days.
Wow.
Still gain strength, things like that. So that piece that you got right there was mainly about trying to get people to wake up to certain behaviors that they're doing. But most people who need to have that won't read that, because the first thing they'll say is body positivity. I told the girl flat out, like, if you want to stay with me, you're going to lose weight.
Hey, there you go. The second thing I kind of picked up is you said, I got my life in order, stable sex life, a couple of good friends, and financially I'm secure in my lifestyle. You actually just said that before. Yep. But when things go up, you start to notice the sheer stupidity of others and the discontent they have for you. You startle the crabs, as you say here.
Yeah.
The crabs are the entitled, spiteful, short-term gain, lazy, childish, overweight people, over-consuming. I won't say that word. Basically, if you are Mr. Things are going well, you turn into the bane of their existence.
Yes, that is something I experienced. I mean, I'm not a multimillionaire or anything. Absolutely not. I'm not banging 9s and 10s. 8s. Yeah, 8s is a bit more in my range. But I mean, everything above a 7 is an ego. No, everything above a 6 is an ego investment. So okay. But I'm fit. I don't have debt. I've got my shit in order. And people freaking hate it. Because they look at me. I'm 29. And most people my age have a dad bod, have kids, are in crippling debt, have a nagging wife, and a mortgage. And here I am, just saying no to all of it.
Producing content out there that present one way and their lifestyle is completely different.
Like a certain convention that shall not be named, who keeps yelling you shouldn't marry a single mom, and then he turned out to marry a single mom and had a gut.
Yes.
Oh my God, Steve the Queen, fuck off. I did love his little narration with the hammer and things like that, but then I saw the photos and I was like, oh, dude,
Listen, you know, and I'll say this, all right, and I have a video up on my channel here. Anybody can see it. I did a little dissertation editorial on the whole thing almost now a year ago that happened with Rolo and all that stuff. My big problem is I don't like it when a corporation, and that's what I feel that group is, a corporation. They try to do a different business model, and instead of just saying thank you, gentlemen, and you know the content providers, we're going with something else. They don't do that. They go out and they besmirch them, and they try to tarnish their reputations and the things that they've worked on. To me, I have a big problem with that. So, and I'll just leave it there.
I mean, I don't mind saying it. You've got a guy who sells you ticket for $1,500, who is trying to start a beef with a guy who has 3 books and sells them for $10 a piece. Now, I ask you, who do you want to trust? Hey, the guy who asks you for like $1,500, or the guy who just said, here's books, buy them if you want. Here's my blog. Most of it's on there, but if you want a hard copy and give it to friends, you can do that. So yeah, that's how I always looked at it. So we've got just the author right here, and we've got the guy with the conventions right there. Take your pick. And I chose for the power mullet.
And another tidbit from your website here. You will get flaked on. Rejection is better than regret. That was a quote from Pook that you added on the website there. Pook is right. You say rejection is better than regret. You know what is better than that? Actual cancellation. And you say you're not joking when you say that. I will choose canceling over flaking any day of the week. And you believe that is good because you will not get back the time that you invested and you put forth that you set to go on that actual date with that person.
Yes.
So time is of the essence, I guess, is what you were getting at there.
Time is of the essence in all of this. And when you're at it as long as I am, Jesus Christ, I'm only 29. There comes
the old man in the sea here.
Yeah, but there comes a certain time when you've gone on so many dates, and with all successful dates, there are 9 to 10 flakes, cancellations, you name it. And when you just want your life in order and you want to fix things, and I love this personal training. I've got a couple of clients, man, I like them as a person. So I made friends with this. I made new friends. And then I try to go out with this girl, and I show up at the venue or whatever, and she doesn't show up. And I'm like, I'm not pissed off you dumped me or anything. I'm pissed off I can't have that time back.
Yeah.
I'm pissed off that I had to cancel or say no to a good friend of mine who I can actually have fun with now, because you didn't have the decency as a human being. And I know women don't have agency anymore. Well, they don't. And I'll get to that. That my time is now gone, and I will never get that back. And that is my biggest issue with all this dating and things like that. It's the only thing I ask. Cancel, please. If you do not want to go out with me, cancel an hour beforehand. It's the only thing I ask, because then I can actually make something of this. And that's why in that same article, I have the buddy system. Now, I love the buddy system. And this can only work with a guy who's successful as well, or quote unquote successful, who got laid. Let's keep it at that. So what you do is you plan a date with a girl, but you also set a date with your best friend. But you let him know, like, hey, I have a date, but you know how girls are, so are you free that night? The buddy system is, yeah, man, I'm free that night. Let me know how it turns out. So in that agreement, there is mutual respect. So it can go up to 5 minutes before you planned to hang out with him, that you're like, oh, she showed up. But he knows that because he's in there. And then it's like, cool, man. Have fun. Let me know how it was.
Hell, I've actually done that to, like, actually during the date. If I knew it wasn't going to go well, it was going to end with a happy ending, I'd be like, all right, I'm going out with the boys. See you later.
Yeah, I faked a phone call once. I was on a date with this girl. She was like, she was pretty darn interested. And she was like, yeah, but, well, my boyfriend doesn't like me hanging around with other guys. So, what? Record scratch. You might wonder how I got here. I was like, whoa, could you repeat that? Yeah, my boyfriend, but it doesn't matter. He lives there and there. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
One of my most infamous exits was now, you see, it's funny, you were talking about how, like, Match was like, you know, you're back in the day. Well, when I started doing this whole thing, it was when AOL was actually a service, and they had something called Love at AOL. So it was like actually built into the AOL service. So that was literally the first time that people were doing online dating. So, and yeah, I'll dox my age a little bit. You know, it was like, you know, late 90s, right? So, you know, truth be told, the pictures sucked on that service. They were small, they were grainy, you know, everything.
So, was it pixelated when they?
Oh, yeah. To the least. So I get there, and ironically, I'd parked my car next to, like, the fire hydrant. So this girl comes to the door, and you were talking about somebody that definitely should be going to the gym and think about lifestyle changes.
Yeah.
Well, she clearly was easily like 80 pounds overweight. And in my mind, like, that split second, I was like, holy shit. Now I got to, like, go on a date, spend time with this girl. And I'm like, I'm not wasting an hour or an hour and a half of time bullshitting. And, like, this is not even a, you know, banger and lever kind of thing. So I turn around and I'm like, you know, there might be a problem. I might get a ticket if I park next to this fire hydrant. So I was like, let me move it.
Because I'm going to be very honest. Yesterday was great. Really was. But before that, the lays I had before, the 2 lays before that were dreadful. Those were for the notch, so to say. I didn't enjoy them. I didn't want to do it again. It's just like, yeah, honey, I'm done. Bye.
Yeah.
Like, go away. I don't want to see you. But yesterday was fun. I was actually very attracted to this one. And Jack, you're pedestalizing her. Chill.
Yeah.
What I mean is physical attraction was there. This was not just for the notch. Like, let's go. This was more, I want you. Like, I want to do things to you that your priest is not going to like. If anybody in your family finds out what I'm going to do to you, you will be exiled.
You're going to have to confess this to me.
Like, things like that. But that's the notch you want. And to be very honest, guys, because I don't know if you got that one, like Ravolini on Twitter was like, how many notches is enough? And I'm like, until the point you can't remember all of their names.
Right.
And that is around, for me, it was around 20, where I was like, I'm forgetting 1 or 2 right now. But I encourage guys to go for quote unquote quality, for what's left out there, over quantity.
Right.
I'd rather have guys have 10 girls who they consider a 7 or an 8 than 20 or even half of the 20 notch count being slumbusters. Now, I'm not saying half of my notch count are slumbusters, but there are a couple in there where I'm like, yeah, why did we do that? I don't know. Let's not do that again. Now, I had this argument with Watson, my best friend as well, and he was like, "Well, yeah, well, they're quick, they're easy," and I'm like, "Dude, my dick just won't go, man."
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I've been in relation. You see, okay, here's a little bit about me. Well,
Yeah.
one of my biggest things is that I tend to get bored with with a girl.
Every girl gets tired of a girl he's fucking. He does.
Yeah. So and that's like, well, hey, that's why I'm single. I'm not married, and that's probably going to remain. I am honestly that's I joke around. I say I'm the Messiah. I am basically the epitome of the guy that has just lived through like dating life and seen all crazy crap. And I used to promote lounges, and I was in the club scene and all that stuff back in the day. I should be writing a friggin' book, but so I feel like I bring like a kind of like a unique, overarching kind of like idea and perspective to things. So
yeah, like how did you get into this, Chris?
it's I Rolo asked me the same thing, and have reflected on a lot of stuff from reading Rolo's material and a lot of Rich's stuff. I actually found Rich before I found Rolo. So I was watching his content, the free content you talk about what he gives. I was reading all that, and it was really more reflective for me, saying like, geez, okay, so I back in high school, back in college, I was doing that. I was saying those things. I was thinking that way. And I think through attrition and just becoming numb and then just knowing how things work, I've kind of segued past that, and through my own personal kind of reasons and ideas, like, yeah, I honestly don't believe I will ever get married, and I have no desire to have children. So I come from I'm at a point now where I'm very, I have goals. Okay. I have goals just like you were saying, and things of that nature. And I know where I want to be when I get really old and, I'm gray and whatnot. And I'd rather work towards those goals, to be very honest with you. And if I find somebody that complements my life, that would be great for me, and who is that? What do they look like? Who are they going to be at that point when I feel I want that to happen? I don't know. But until then, I'm going to do this.
There's a funny thing you should mention that, Chris, because like the lists that go on Twitter, like a high quality woman knows how to blah 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 blah. But cooking and cleaning is always in there. Now, guys like you and me who actually want to do something, we don't think about cleaning. We don't think about cooking. Okay, I think about cooking because meal prep and things like that. So I have a main plate. She barely cooks for me because I know how I want my steak done. Like, get out. I know how this works. So yeah, I don't even let her do it. But with all the cleaning and shit like that, laundry, I don't have time for that. I have to build an empire. No. But the laundry, do it. Like, if I don't get this fixed, there won't be laundry. But for some odd reason, you're a misogynist. No, I'm busy. I'm busy doing things. Like, I know that the feminine imperative now has degraded motherhood to the low level that it's been seen right now, which is utter nonsense. Utter horse crap. Like, and just house moms, things like that. Like, women who do that do not only take care of the household, they take care of the empire while he's gone. But for some odd reason, well, you can't do that because that's misogyny. Well, excuse me for building an environment that you can live in, you hag. Then don't come. Like, I can live with the fact that I sometimes have that I'm sometimes overdue with laundry. I can live with that. But how are you doing single and over 35? Not so well, are you? With the last articles coming out that alcoholism is a growing problem with single women over 35.
Yeah, I saw that one, yeah.
It's not working out very well, does it? How does cleaning a house sound loud? Oh, wait, you're too late. Because guys like me, guys like Chris, are now dating younger. Because you were too much of a stuck-up hag to actually make something of yourself. But I have a PhD, and I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
PhD isn't working me in building this empire. And that's how you have to see it. Like, again, I don't have the goal of becoming a millionaire, and you can quote me on Marcus Aurelius, like, no, the problem is not that we aim too high and fail. The problem is that we aim too low and succeed. So, okay, maybe I will aim to become a millionaire so that at least you get somewhere. That's a bit of the theory behind all of that. But to me, it's still an empire. Like, the empire for me, and okay, like, what is Jack Napier's ultimate goal? And Watson said it best: a place to call home. I dream, for years I've dreamed of this. A small house in the middle of nowhere with just a view over a landscape. And it can be just a grassy field. I don't care. As long as it's in the middle of nowhere and no one but who I choose to can bother me. That's what I want. And I don't need $1 million for that. I don't need $1 million for that. But and the 4-Hour Work Week is a great book on this. People want the millionaire lifestyle, but they forget that you don't have to be a millionaire for it. Like, people see these guys hanging out in Southeast Asia. Do you know how cheap Southeast Asia is? Like, we're millionaires there, and we don't even have $1 million. Like, living expenses in just a normal home. Do you remember that? The show that shall not be named, where the guy called in and he's like, I get girls, blah, 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 and I have a $3 million home. And like, whoa, what? You have a $3 million home? Like, first of all, why do you need a $3 million home? Who's going to clean that? Like, there's 3 spaces in my house. I come, maybe 4. It's the kitchen, it's the bathroom, it's this room, and maybe the shared living room because I have a roommate. So at least maybe I'm missing something in my brain. Maybe I am a bit of a spurg, but I don't see why you'd want that because of all the things it comes with. You're a single guy. You have a $3 million home. You have to pay for all the expenses, pay for the cleaners, pay for the plumbing, electricity, you fucking name it. Like, cool, you can do that. But how's this? You start living for what you actually need, and all the money you have left, you spend on living instead of having. The average Joe in this sphere needs to realize that you can live a millionaire lifestyle without actually being it if you're not a complete idiot. Because winning for me is having time.
Right.
That's my winning. And that's how I play. I do play to win. Like, all of this, like the side hustle and things like that, man, that could have gone wrong. I could have uploaded that first video about the 48 laws of power, and people could have laughed at me, could have been doxxed right away, you name it. But no, people liked it. Sometimes you need to take the jump.
Yeah.
You really do. And then my values kicked in. Like, okay, Jack, what is actually important to you? Is it a sports car? Things like that? No, not really. Not really. You know, years ago, I celebrated my birthday with, how many people were there? 20 people. Oh, God, Bull Rush. Hello. Bull Rush showed up in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
Old blood represent. But was with about 20 people. It was the worst of all. Like, Remember that scene from Batman Begins where I forget the actor's name, Christian Bale. Like Ra's al Ghul shows up again, and he's like, "Well, Mr. Wayne, you cannot kill an idea. The League of Shadows, blah 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 blah." And all Bruce Wayne is like, ding, 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 ding. "I'd like to thank all of you for drinking my booze and eating my food as the low-value vultures that you are."
Yeah.
That is how I felt on my birthday. Like, what are these people doing here other than drinking my booze and eating my food? Like, ugh. And then I started implementing a text idea. Like, don't text people for about a week and see who shows up.
Right.
Not a lot of people showed up. But my last birthday, my 29th birthday, I had two of my closest friends, my training partner and Watson. And we went to a steakhouse. We had a couple of scotches and we got 3 cigars. Best birthday ever.
There you go.
That's what I value. The peace and quiet and quality of company. So there will be guys that don't resonate with me, which is okay. Like, there are guys out there who are like, yeah, but Jack, I want to be a millionaire. Go ahead. I'm not stopping you. I calculated it all out for what I need, for what I want. And I'm here for the average Joe. I mean, that's my thing. Like, the younger guys in the sphere who are 16, 17, who find Rolo and are like, what the hell am I supposed to do? Like, that's who I want to create content for. Like, hey, it's not that hard. Don't let anybody fool you or let anybody make you insane. There's a better way to handle all of this. If you don't get married, if you don't knock a girl up, and you don't get into a car debt. Just one more quick thing. Yeah, Rich, Cooper, Tate, all those guys have sports cars. You know why? Because they don't have to take out a loan for them.
Right.
They actually own the bloody car. So don't knock a girl up, don't get married, and don't get a car loan in your 20s and your 30s, and you're set by 40. That's about my rant. Yeah, Rush, I know, man, but I didn't know you, Net Bully. I didn't know you.
And I will say this, that that's really what it is. It's about, as you said, keeping your time, managed and valuable, making and identifying those good friends to spend that quality time on. So, and as I've been doing this, and as I hope to do this going forward, is making new acquaintances and people that I consider friends through this. You, Jack, absolutely, I feel are one of the newest ones, and I'm very happy and honored for that.
Well, I do my best. Like, when I started out, there came a lot of guys who were like, which book should I read? And I'm like, I've got this entire bookcase of things that I've read and helped me out. So apparently there's a need for guys who want to know what books to read. So yeah, I started out the channel with all the books and things like that, sharing the knowledge, and that's how I got here. And now I got the pleasure and honor to be on your show, which is pretty damn awesome.
Right now, well, again, thank you. And yeah, this is my little corner of the world. So, but Jack, again, it's getting to be well, it's already morning there, but it's the witching hour here. So I'm going to, again, thank you for stopping by. And again, I look forward to the future and having you on again.
Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you for having me on.
All right. Well, have a wonderful morning.
You too, man. You too.
All right.
Enjoy.
Take care, my man.